Hey guys, it's East here. It's another update commentary. Hope everyone had a good Christmas. This will be going up on New Year's Eve, so once again, happy holidays. Hope everyone's having a good time. Hope nothing bad's happened since holidays are usually when people start to go kinda crazy, mainly because they're drunk. But let's leave that aside and not talk about the bad things and let's talk about the good things. So, uh, obviously, Christmas just passed. If you got the Christmas present that you wanted, good for you. You know, that starts to not happen as often as you get older. If you have friends like mine, oh well, I guess not. We don't really give each other presents. We're just the kind that celebrates on a more how would you call it? Not really that close since we don't really present up each other. We'll at least give each other a good Merry Christmas on the day and maybe talk about doing stuff, but most of us, I guess, are actually kind of past the present stage. There's like, so if you're still at the point in life where you get presents for Christmas, it basically goes like this. You are born, you have no presents because you're a baby and you don't need them. Well, unless your parents are really doting and they give it to you, but you don't know what the hell it is except that's a new toy because you're a baby and you don't need it. And then you'll get to the point when you're a kid, and you'll be like, Mommy, Daddy, I want a freaking toy. Well, not like that. You'll just be like, I want a toy. More like that. More like an innocent kid. Hopefully the kids aren't so corrupt as I imagine they are these days. But, at that point, probably going through kindergarten, elementary school, primary school, whatever you call it around the world, middle school, where I come from, it's called intermediate. It's only like 2 years long, so I think that's different from the rest of the world. No idea how it works. But, and then you get into high school. Well, actually, before you get into high school is probably when the present flow starts to steadily go down again. So, you'll get to that point, and then you'll have presents through, I guess, kindergarten to the end of middle school. I guess I'll call it that since I don't know what most of the world uses. And that'll be your point of, like, an innocent kid getting presents, and you'll probably stop believing in Santa if you still believe in Santa. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. If you believe in Santa, he will come to your house. If you're a good little boy or girl, Santa will come to your house. But if you don't believe in him, same as God, he doesn't exist. So, always remember, if you want to have faith in someone, have faith in them. If you don't want to, don't. I'm teaching people horrible lessons, but anyways, like, that's probably the age range that you'll get presents. At that kind of age range, probably as you're steadily getting older, you'll realize that the presents steadily go from the thing you really wanted in your stocking, if you have stockings. Otherwise, it's under the tree. If you don't have a tree, then it's probably next to your pillow. If you don't have a pillow, then I actually don't know where you put the present at that point. Probably right on top of you, and if it's heavy, then rip. You'll probably get slightly crushed by it, or if you're like me, who, if I don't roll around in my sleep, for some unknown reason, I can't do that if it's a bit I'm not used to, or your guts kind of just slide to one side, and when you get up, you get this horrible feeling of having too much pressure on one side of your body. But that's beside the point. So as you grow up, during your present receiving period of your life, I guess you'll call it, or the presents you want receiving period of life, that you'll get the present you want, and then the next year, you'll get the present you want, and then the next year, you don't get the present you want, but there's still something you like. And then, the next year, it's the same deal. It's a present that you'll accept, but you kind of realize that it's not really what you asked for. And then, the last year, probably before the present stop altogether, you get a present that you're just like, the hell? What the heck do I do with this? Also, you're one of those parents that go and give their kids, like, exercise books and textbooks and tell them that, I know that you wanted that new textbook or that new exercise book so that you could become a better scholar. I don't know a kid that would actually, enjoy that unless they were literally raised as the nerdiest thing around, but I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't have a kid. I'm not dating anyone either, so that goes a long way of not having a kid for a while, at the very least, unless something happens in my life in the near future that's not predicted. I'm not really a romantic person, I guess. I don't actively go out looking for social interactions, so it's kind of expected that in a way. But who knows? You don't know what life throws at you. There are the people who actively look for like a partner in life, which is why like dating sites and applications like Tinder can actually function. But for me, and I know couple of my friends actually, with how a decent number of my friends are actually kind of antisocial like I am. Uh, there's a decent group of us that are just like, you know what? If you find your love in life, it happens. If you don't, well, that also happens. So we're the kind that just kind of ride on the waves of life, I guess. Just let it surf your way, and you happen to hit something that you like, well, cool. You happen to hit a rock that you don't, well, shit. But that's pretty much how the outlook on life is sometimes, because you really can't control anything in reality. A lot of ends have to meet before something actually good will happen, I guess. But anyways, continuing on the present point, you'll get to about high school, probably most likely the time where you will stop receiving like prison. If you still receive prisons at that point, it's probably like more like a family tradition or like some friend get together tradition that you'll start going through where everyone has to get prison. Actually, no. If it's like that, then it's the point where you will start also giving prisons, which is probably also the reason why if you still want Santa to give you prisons at that age, it gets really awkward because you're just like, Santa will give me a present, but I'm going to get my friend a present, or my parents a present, or my brother or sister a present, but some fat ass has to break into my house and give me a present still. Actually, in a way, that's probably the most likely reason why the image of Santa gets really wonky after a while when you're kind of aware of like you get the concept of basically giving and sharing when you're a kid, but when you actually get into like high school and you like one of the biggest things a kid like starts to understand is as they grow up in our current society, because it's a society where money makes the world go round no matter how much people don't like it. I don't really like it, but what can you do about it? But once a kid understands that essentially money makes the world go round, you kind of realize, like, using that logic, that Santa probably doesn't break into your house to give you free presents, especially when you don't have a chimney. The image of Santa going down the chimney has always, I guess, confused me as a kid, because I was never from a Christian family, I guess, or like a Catholic one, or whatever closer relation to Santa religions there are. Even though I know for a fact that Christian and Catholic didn't actually have a fat old white dude from North Pole come out to give presents, so it's actually based on something else. I know that for a fact. Well, I don't know the story full well, so I'm not going to go into detail about it. But basically, as a kid, like, understands the concept of money, you start realizing that you had to buy the present for someone, and then because you don't have the money because you're a freaking poor as hell students, you eat a scrap to get something really cheap. Usually, you get those really heartwarming things that you will see in actually a lot less in Western media or like dramas or movies or anything of that sort, like cartoons. Typically, you'll see this more regularly in Eastern media, where I guess family bonds are actually tighter. I did kind of recognize that coming back to Hong Kong for like this long break, that compared to how my family functions, even though honestly there's some things fundamentally wrong with how my family functions, I feel. The way, like, the fact that beyond like me going basically to my grandma's place to eat dinner every night, because grandparents will always be happy to see you. Your parents maybe not, but your grandparents always will. They'll always dote on you. Don't make your grandparents angry. And that was a really weird life lesson just then. But like, my cousins do actually have a decently close relation. Like, apparently from what I know, my whole family that's like my whole father's side of the family that's in Hong Kong basically has their own group chat on WhatsApp, which I hate using, by the way, and I also can't type Chinese, which is why I'm not part of it. But basically, they actually get together a lot. I don't know if it's a holiday fever, and I'm just here during the holiday fever, but I got here immediately, had to go out to lunch with a decent number of them. The next day, dinner with like a good number of them. Actually, no, what's the next day? A couple of days, and go out to dinner with all of them. And then the next day, I show up at my grandma's place, and they're having a steamboat there. It was not cold. You don't know what a steamboat is. It's basically a giant pot. You just boil some kind of soup in it, and then you just basically put stuff into the soup, which is boiling most of the time, by the way, to cook it, and then you eat it from there, and that's what we call steamboat. But it was not cold. Facts, a steamboat is something you typically have when it's cold out, like winter. It is winter here, but it's not cold out. Actually, it's only recently been cold. Like today and yesterday has been the only days where I've been required to put on as much clothes as I had to in New Zealand, which is really awkward because when I left New Zealand it was summer, and I still complain about that to everyone here. And well, ignoring the fact that my grandma tells me every day that I don't wear enough clothes because it's apparently cold, and I tell her that I don't even feel the wind. But I feel like I'm speaking really fast all of a sudden. I got really excited there talking about how steamboat should be eaten during winter when it's cold. But it's like that happened, and then a couple more days later, actually no. Actually, when did that happen? No, I think there was a bit of a pause actually. And then everyone went on with their lives for a bit. I tried to find work, blah blah blah. Which has been really unsuccessful, and I'm pretty much going back to New Zealand after like a couple of job interviews, and that's it. But this coming, yesterday, no, the day before, it wasn't a family get together, but there's another like big gathering of people to basically BBQ. Wasn't really the BBQ I knew, where we have the giant machines to like basically cook our food properly. Instead, you just kind of pour charcoal and licit, like charcoal and coal, and just light that up, and then basically fork up some stuff, and then just stick it over the fire and cook it like that. Which, by the way, if you don't know how to do it, apparently is terrible, because I spent that night eating mostly like half-cooked food, and a lot of it was meat, and it was not good, and it was probably the reason why I've had to attend to the bathroom a couple more times in the recent past, but that's probably not a story I should be sharing. So, anyways, what was I talking about? How did I get onto this? This is a really weird topic. Oh well, let's go back to talk about Christmas presents, because I think that's what I was talking about to start off with. I don't know how I end up dragging it all the way over there. You can see why I kind of keep back to a topic, and why I'm really bad at like these kind of things where I just talk about a topic without something to actually talk about. But anyways, let's talk about the Christmas presents as you get into your high school days, and to your early like university, or if you go straight to work, like your early adulthood days. Basically, what I like to call the legal age of about 18 to 21, where as far as I'm aware, no matter what part of the world you're in, by the time you're 23, I believe it was last time I looked it up for something that I don't remember, you'll be able to drink, drive, and have consented sex, I believe it was. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but basically by the time you can consent to everything, that age group, and like your high school days, you're really racking up money together to get presents for people. But once you get to like the next phase where you're like the legal age, basically that's probably when a lot of people start working. I was part of the group that actually didn't work very much through high school. Odd jobs maybe, and that doesn't really pay out. But I didn't actually pick up an actual job until I was in university, which is kind of bad. I know a lot of people do have jobs in high school, even if it's like not a proper one, but I didn't actually have an official job that was paying me weekly with a decent is it a salary, or is it what's the other thing apart from the salary? Why the hell can I not think of it? But I believe it was a salary. It was a weekly payout. So I had a weekly payout of money that I could use in university. It wasn't much. It was just working at a restaurant, and it was kind of interesting because it was an Asian restaurant. Well, to be exact, it was a Japanese restaurant run by a Korean dude. I was Chinese, and apparently I was a loud white guy of the restaurant because I was really loud. I could pretty much only speak English to the customers, even though I could speak Cantonese, but no one in my area apparently speaks Cantonese anymore. It's been taken over by like the Chinese immigrants from China, which everyone hates. But that's for a different story. But at that point, I don't think my family doesn't really celebrate Christmas. My friends, we didn't bother sending Christmas presents to each other because we had really ripped into each other's friendship pretty hard. And we did that probably. We weren't like so close that we could probably shake it off. Probably actually had to like think about the presents a little bit or like make sure the prank was good. It's not like we do any like big share stories of like stuff like that and everyone's got their own life to do. You know, at that point in your life is really hectic because it's probably the most social part of your life that you'll ever have is during high school and into like early adulthood will be your most socially active part of your life. So if you're giving out presents at that point in time, you are probably either in some kind of like situation where actually my cousin's in where she married early and had a kid early. Actually, she married because she had the kid, but I don't think I should be talking about that. But you're either in that situation or you're like with like some kind of older group that's more settled, or you're in some kind of like family group or some like set party of like people from a bigger age range, but you have like the set form. But you'll probably won't be giving presents out too often at this point. You'll probably be more actively looking for social interactions. And then you get past the next part of the age, which is where I'm starting to hit into, because I'm an old boot that's still studying. There's people older than me, so I don't feel that bad in my class. So you get to the next phase where you start giving out presents again, and at this point, you start to give and receive. This is probably the most give and receive part of your life that you go through, which is basically adulthood. If you have kids, you obviously have to like give to them. You don't receive from them as much, apart from their affection. If you don't really give to them, they'll be a dick to you later. So that's a fact. Unless they really dote on you for some reason, which usually leads to some really interesting situations, which I would say certain medias like it, such as movies, comics, and also pornographies. But that's a completely different matter. I just made that super awkward without meaning to. Okay, so you get to that point, and then you start giving and receiving presents. And if you have a situated group in your life at that point, because you'll obviously always have several groups at that point in your life because you've gone through the stage of social activeness during your high school and early adulthood, and then once you get into your adulthood stage, you'll probably have like a group you typically stick with as your main group. It sounds kind of bad the way I'm saying it, but it is like a thing where if you have like your set group, you'll typically move around them. Like if you go anywhere, probably with them. If you hang out, probably be with them. Like hang out in person properly, or actually probably a bit less once you're like an actual adult. Unless you're here in Hong Kong, by the way, which you can traverse, or other Asian countries which are so small you can traverse them pretty much within an hour anywhere, because I can literally get to the other side of this place within an hour. But if you're like in a bigger country, even like in New Zealand where we're kind of small, we're not actually that big, or like I wouldn't say like places like Japan or Australia were that big either, but that'll take a decent bit of time to travel. I mean, if you're in America, you take the time off to like go travel all the way over to see family like during Thanksgiving and stuff. I know that because most of the people I follow on social media are Americans, so I know that for a fact. But at that point, usually if you're not going to travel to like go see everybody, because if you're a group of friends, usually traveling for holidays are something that's basically it's more exclusive to family. You don't just travel all the way out to your friend's place unless you literally have like no family like within your immediate country or surrounding countries if you're in Europe where you can easily cross the borders. But typically, unless you're literally in a situation where you have like no family, which will probably be a situation I'll be in later in life because New Zealand doesn't have the best game production opportunities even though it's increasing, and Hong Kong definitely does not. I have proven that by coming here and finding absolutely jack shit. But unless you're doing mobile, then it's okay. But still, then you're maintaining stuff from you're a branch of maintaining stuff rather than being like part of the main company developing things. So obviously, giving presents is like something you start doing later life. If you have like a set group, maybe you'll like give presents to each other like if you're like that kind of group, I guess. Some people don't like to do it, some people will do. It's like an interesting thing, because you're never obligated to have to give presents to people. You should never feel the need to have to give someone a gift, and you should also never feel that someone has to give a gift to you. That's generally a pretty important lesson in life, where you learn one part as a kid and one part as an adult. The receiving part as a kid and the giving part as an adult, obviously. But it is like, I guess it could be called like a lesson in life where you just like people. It's not just like gift giving for like Christmas or birthdays or stuff, things like that. But it is like a important part of life where you kind of realize that I guess you just don't have to give and you don't have to receive. It's actually really important, but it applies to a lot of things. Like, if you don't feel like going to school, you don't have to. Like, that's probably a terrible thing to say, but it's actually true. If you don't feel like going to school, don't. You have something else to do, go do it. It's like, it's your path in life. People might try to stop you. They might say all these things, but if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Like, and if you don't want it, you don't have to take it. Like, that's just the facts. Unless someone is assaulting you for some reason, then you might have to take it if you don't want to. But that's a really awkward and unlikely scenario that I hope no one ever gets into that's listening to this, because then it makes me sound like a complete asshole. But anyways, I think I've ranted enough for today. I don't know where I was going. It went from like presents, Christmas, to like talking about life in general as you grow up, and I don't know why the hell I started talking about that, but anyways, Happy New Year's Eve, because this will be going up on New Year's Eve. I don't know why I was about to call New Year's Eve Happy New Year's Eve. I guess it's happy. If you like New Year's Eve, then you'll be happy. So, be happy on New Year's Eve. Unless you want to be happy on New Year's and not use up all your happiness on New Year's Eve, then don't be happy on New Year's Eve. Man, that makes me sound like a dick. But, anyways, that'll do it for me, and hope everyone has a good New Year's, and if you're going to be celebrating Chinese New Year's later into January, which apparently is at the end of January, look forward to that as well. I don't know about keep making these commentaries all the way through till I'm back in New Zealand, honestly, because I rant way too hard on unrelated topics and swerve all over the place of the topic. But anyways, that'll be it for me, so until next time, bye bye.